This is Predator Hunting Radio. This is episode number 7. In this episode, we're going to be talking about night vision scope batteries and the differences between what's out there right now and some things that you should expect. We're also going to be going into my State of the Union. My name is Tony Abreu, and I am the host of Predator Hunting Radio. And I basically set out a little while ago, or at the beginning of this year, to kill 100 predators this year. So we're going to be talking about my status on that. And then in the very end, we're just going to be wrapping up. I mean, it's going to be a pretty simple episode. So let's go ahead and get into this. So night vision scope batteries. Well, the first night vision scope that I ever bought was an ATN X-Sight 2 HD, I believe. And that sight, it had a battery compartment where you could put 4 AA's in there, or you could power it externally with an external battery pack. And right now in 2021, this was 3 years ago. So in 2021, one of the most popular ways to power scopes is through like the little cell phone charger batteries. So that's a real great way to power them. But let's talk about batteries in general with the night vision. So if you were going to buy a new night vision scope or even a thermal optic, some scopes come with internal batteries or battery packs or their own proprietary battery with a charging system. And some scopes don't. And to me, that's a very big thing to know when you're going into buying one, because if it doesn't have an internal battery, or even if it does have an internal battery, there's going to be an additional cost, in my opinion, to buying a scope. Because, like, just say me, for instance, I have right now a Pulsar Thermion XQ50. It's basically it looks like a regular scope, but it's a digital thermal rifle scope. And it has one internal battery, and then it has another internal battery that's removable. The first one's not, the second one is. And when I bought it, I bought an additional removable battery to put in there. So now I have an extra battery, because I don't want to be out here hunting and run out of batteries and then not have a way to charge it. So internal, some have internal and then others don't. And generally the ones that don't have internal batteries, those are going to be the ones that they either use AA batteries, 4 AA batteries generally, not all of them, but some of them. And then the other style of battery that they use is going to be a CR123 or a CR123A battery, which I believe those are both the same size. I'm not sure the difference, but there's a tiny difference, but not much. And generally the ones that use the CR123s are using 2 of those, and they're generally not in line with each other. They're generally running side by side with each other. And then most scopes in general, most digital night vision or thermal scopes have a port that you can plug in an external battery pack for. So that's a big deal, because like I said, when you're buying one, you got to know this stuff. And let's talk about the Sightmark Wraith. I have 2 different versions of the Sightmark Wraith, and there is now a third out. The Sightmark Wraith 4 came out first, which is just a 4 base power magnification. And then they came out with the Sightmark 2, which has a 2 power base magnification. And now they also have the Sightmark Wraith Max 4K, which is like a more crispy picture. And none of those scopes have internal batteries. So I believe even the new one, they all run 4 AA batteries. And the first time I ran the Sightmark Wraith, when I put the batteries in there, I just put 4 regular Duracells in there. And by the time we were 2.5 hours into the hunt, my battery light was flashing and I was almost out of batteries. And that, I didn't like that at all. So after that, I started really like researching battery types and batteries and stuff. Now there are a couple of companies out there that are making AA hybrid type batteries, and one of them being a company called Kentley, and then the other one being a company called Anyloop. And I have used the Kentley batteries religiously in that scope, and basically those batteries, they are 1.5, but they're like a hybrid battery, and they actually charge, and you could use them as 3.7 too, so they're kind of a hybrid battery. It's really weird to explain, but they have their own proprietary charger. You can't charge them with anything else but their own because of the way they charge. But those will actually power a Sightmark Wraith for up to 8 hours, which to me that's plenty of time to do a hunt. And I have multiple sets of those for both of my Wraiths. So also, as far as the CR123s go, there are the AGM Rattlers out. There are the Bearing Optics has the Hogster line. And then there's tons of other companies out there that have them, and most of them use the CR123 batteries. Well, the CR123s, they make rechargeables, but they can't even touch a regular battery. So you can order multiple like packs of batteries online for like 20 or 30 bucks. It gives you like maybe 15 or 20 sets, 20 pairs or something like that. But that can get expensive, and I believe those will run a scope for somewhere around 4 to 6 hours. I'm not exactly sure because I don't own any of those scopes right this second, but I do have people that do. I do know people that do own them, like my buddy that I'm out here in this area right here about to hunt with. He has an older FLIR scope, and he runs the 2 CR123s in his, and basically when we're hunting, generally he'll have to switch them out one time, which ain't a big deal. He has multiples, and that's just how he likes to run it. But to me, like, having the best with the CR123s is just to go ahead and get a battery pack and fit it on there. So I actually sell these battery packs on my website, perceptiveoutdoorgear.com. And right now it's listed as a Sightmark Wraith battery pack, but it will run multiple night vision scopes. I'm pretty sure it'll run any night vision scope. Although I did plug it into the X-Sight 2 HD one time and it wouldn't run it. But I'm not sure what was going on there. The X-Sight 2 HD is really old and I don't use it anymore because it doesn't work very well. So, but I have those on there. Basically what I do with mine is I have a 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack. It's about the size, a little bit bigger than a credit card as far as like the footprint of it, and it's probably about almost an inch thick. It's really a nice battery, and it'll run the Sightmark Wraith for over 15 hours. And what I do is I basically epoxy a quick disconnect Picatinny mount on there, so you can either clamp it to your scope or you can clamp it to your side rail. Most people are running rails whenever they're hunting, and that's right around 50 bucks. Also, a lot of people are using magnetic cables. I do have those on the website as well. I have a 19-inch magnetic cable. It comes with all the attachments, so it'll fit pretty much any scope unless it's like a really weird one, but it'll fit the USB micro or micro USB plug and also the USB-C plug. And then it's actually magnetic just on the little part, and then the big part plugs in. It's a nice cable. Those are on there as well. So, and external batteries too, and I just want to share a little bit of background on those, because basically once I had the X-Sight 2 HD, the first time I used it, I sighted it in, and then I guess an update came out for it. And back then, whenever they were doing updates on them, they said if you let your scope run out of batteries when it's updating, then it'll just kill the scope. And they said don't do that. Well, something happened and mine updated. It was my fault, I guess, and I had batteries in there and they died, and my scope was pretty much useless, so I had to send it back. But when that happened to me, having a scope sitting there, a $600 scope just sitting there where you can't use it, I was like, okay, now I'm going to go start looking at other battery issues, battery packs. And ATN actually sells a 20 milliamp hour battery pack. It's really big. In my opinion, it's big. It's like the size of a brick, but not as thick, you know, but it has the same footprint as a brick. And 20,000 milliamp hour battery pack. That thing, actually, I bought it. It was $100. It came with like a stock pack that you could put on a butt stock, and you could tuck it in there, and then it came with its own cord and this little plastic thing or whatever. I ended up losing the plastic thing for it, but it just was really heavy. And after I had my rifle, which was heavy, and then I had the scope on there, which was heavy, and then I had that battery pack that was heavy, I was like, wow, this thing's too heavy. So then I started looking for lighter battery packs, and that's where I came into the little 10,000 that I sell now. And then there's also another option out there. There's actually a little small cylindrical battery pack. It's a 5,000 milliamp hour pack, and it will actually run the Sightmark Wraith for just around 8 hours, or maybe even a little bit more. So, and that's super light. It's super small. It's, you know, has a small footprint. And lately, with my journey into this predator hunting, you know, I want to be as light and as tiny as possible when I'm out here, because I'm lugging all this gear around, and it's really hard to keep all that stuff and carry all that stuff. So yeah, just keeping the light footprint and lugging all this stuff around, you know, helps you cover more ground, and it helps you be more successful, in my opinion. So that's what I started doing. And I just, you know, I love batteries in itself. And that one 20,000 battery pack, I went hunting one time in Georgia with no power, and I was able to charge my phone even just for like almost 3 times with that one battery pack. So I still have that battery pack. I use it to charge stuff all the time. I just don't carry it out, you know, I just don't carry it out like on my gun and stuff, because it's way too heavy. So anyways, let's get into the State of the Union now. So I have a goal to kill 100 predators this year. I know I talk about this every time, but I'm going to keep talking about it in case somebody new just joins the podcast. This is the 7th episode, and I've been hunting for a couple years now, and I am nowhere near a professional. I'm not even sure that I'll reach 100, but that was my goal, and I didn't want to back down from it. And I'm, you know, working every week to do different things to put more stuff on the mix. Lately, where we're at right now, we're in May. The early part of May right now, and to be honest, there was a cool front come through like 2 nights ago, and I was out last night running around at midnight, and it was freezing. But it's great weather. The days have been great. And in May, lately, you know, the coyotes have slowed down for me right now, and I've never really hunted through a whole year, so I'm not really sure like when it's supposed to get good and when it's not. But in my experience right now with what I'm doing, it seems like the hogs are more prevalent right now, because there's a lot of corn being planted, and there's just a lot of farmland that I'm associated with that has a lot of hogs on it. So I'm trying to, you know, bait hogs. I'm trying to sell hog hunts. I'm trying to, you know, kill hogs. But I'm also, you know, visiting my buddy tonight, and we're trying to kill some, because we don't, you know, we try to kill coyotes because they're, you know, this property that I'm on right now is a little over 1,000 acres, and I feel like we hit it a lot, but we did hit it a lot, and we killed a lot of coyotes here. So I feel like, you know, us giving it a break has been good for it. But, you know, I'm just not sure, like, I don't know, you know, how much you can hunt an area before it replenishes. You know, I know that the fawns are on the ground right now, and, you know, the coyotes are definitely after them. I know they are, and I even know that the pups, you know, should be dropping soon. So yeah, I'm just not sure, like, as far as, you know, are they more, I mean, it seems like we started killing them more last year in the summertime, but I don't remember hunting too much earlier in the year either. So I haven't hunted as hard as I'm hunting now. And it's just, you know, learning that whole process or whatever is definitely something I'm trying to pay attention to. I know that last year, whenever I got my call, which I'm using the Icotec Outlaw, and when I got that thing, man, the coyotes were coming like crazy to it, and now they're just not coming to it. So I don't know if it was the time of year, if it was the sounds. You know, these are all little things that I'm playing with right now to try to learn. And also, you know, I'm thinking, hey, if we go to a new place, I'm trying some of these same sounds to see if they're going to come to it there. You know, I just don't know. So it's always something that I'm trying to document. I'm trying to pay attention to, be aware of, and log stuff down into my little log book just so I can keep track. I don't know that I've even broke 10 yet, but that's okay, because I know that there's going to be a point where they're going to start coming. And, you know, I just wanted to set a goal. There's people out there that kill hundreds, even up in this area, they kill hundreds of coyotes and even hogs or whatever. And I didn't really base it on one species, but, you know, that's just where I'm at with that. And, you know, I just wanted to set a goal. So, I mean, honestly, if you don't set goals, you can't even move. Or you can move, but setting goals to me helps you move, at least in some direction. So that's pretty much with the state of union. I'm still waiting on deer tags. I really don't know if I'm going to get deer tags this year. It's kind of depressing because last year I had so much meat and stuff, and now I don't really have meat. And it's kind of depressing because that's really what got me into this motion of doing this. And that was during this time last year. And it was really good for the freezer. It was good for me getting out and learning. It was good for me, you know, wanting to upgrade to a thermal, and I did. And it's kind of depressing, but you know, I'm going to keep my options, not my options, but I'm going to keep my my emotions high on that, and hopefully something will come through with some tags, so at least I can kill a couple and get some meat. So with that being said, back to the batteries. You know, I basically made this free PDF with all the experience with these scopes that I have. And I mean, I'm not, you know, I don't have more experience than most people, but I do have a lot of experience with the lower end stuff, and then working my way into it and knowing about the batteries and stuff. But created this free PDF called 7 Things to Consider Before Buying Your Next Night Vision Scope or Thermal Optic. And I basically have the free PDF. If you go to yournextnightscope.com, you can enter in your email address. I'll send you the free PDF, and that thing will save you time, money, and aggravation when buying your next scope. If it's your first scope, if it's your second scope, it doesn't matter. Even if it's your 5th scope, you know, it might be something in there that you didn't know before. I don't know. This is just through my eyes and what I've learned. But go get that. And that's pretty much going to wrap this episode up. Thank you for watching or listening. We're basically on YouTube, but we do syndicate through all the other podcasts platforms. So Tony Abreu, episode 7, finishing it up, and I guess we'll see you on the next episode.